Cool Kid wasn't just a name, it was the face of a movement that shook Roblox's foundations. Originally, an alternate account of the infamous exploiter 007 and 7, known for vandalizing games like Natural Disaster Survival and work at a pizza place with GUI hacks. Cool Kid eventually grew into something far bigger and more infamous than his creator. But in Forsaken, the legend takes a darker turn. This game reimagines Cool Kid not just as an exploiter, but as a tragic, corrupted figure born from digital chaos. In this video, I'll uncover the twisted lore behind Cool Kid, a story far deeper than most players realize. Now, the Forsaken story of Cool Kid is often confused with the origin or inspiration of his character. It's important to separate the two. In Forsaken, he has a very different story than what he's infamous for. His character is based on the real exploiter, 007 and 7, who of course is one of the survivors within Forsaken, and deeply tied into Cool Kid's lore. 007 and 7's alt account was named Cool Kid, and when he hacked games, he'd plaster images of Cool Kid everywhere. Obviously, there's more to the real story, but this just gives you some context for what Forsaken's Cool Kid is actually based on. So now let's shift into the actual in-game lore. Cool Kid was abandoned at birth due to a skin condition and left on the doorstep of 007 and 7. Despite his past as an exploiter, 007 and 7 had retired from hacking and chose to raise the child as his own. He affectionately named him Cool Kid and did his best to give him a normal life, but the shadows of Cool Kid's abandonment lingered. As he grew up, 007 and 7 gave Cool Kid the cool GUI, possibly as a toy or maybe a leftover from his old hacking days. Unaware of his true potential, Cool Kid used it playfully, believing it was just another game. He caused chaos in places like work at a pizza place, thinking it was harmless roughhousing. But this was just the beginning. Cool Kid's innocence made him vulnerable. When he was forsaken by those he trusted, the Spectre, an unseen entity that governs the twisted realm where the killers and survivors are pulled into, which is very similar to the one in Dead by Daylight, found and corrupted Cool Kid. The Spectre twisted his perception of reality, morphing his body into a distorted version of himself, and convincing him the violence he committed was still just part of the game. To him, the people he killed were just taking a nap, tired from playing. His mind was warped, and his childlike innocence became a tool of destruction and a gateway for manipulation. Slowly, at the end of each round, Cool Kid begins to realize the true horror of what he's done, the lives he's ended, the people he's hurt. But the understanding always comes too late. The Spectre keeps pulling him back into this cycle of violence, resetting his mind at the start of every round. But with Cool Kid, not all is lost. His realizations aren't entirely gone. There are moments, especially when interacting with survivors like 007 and 7,
What's wrong, Papa?
where cracks appear in this delusion that he has. When forced to kill his adoptive father, he lays him gently on the ground, showing a flicker of the love and bond they once shared. Torn between the twisted perception of a game and the love of a child who doesn't really understand what's happening. Cool Kid's fractured innocence is revealed even more in how he interacts with survivors. He still recognizes people like Elliot, which he had once exploited with the work at a pizza place game. There are specific voice lines for Elliot.
Look familiar. Oh well.
But the Spectre clouds his recognition, turning everything into another twisted game. Despite Cool Kid seeming to have fun, laughing, there is a sense of guilt. He's just a child that wants to play, but he doesn't really grasp what he's doing. He doesn't understand the consequences of his actions. At just 10 years old, Cool Kid is the youngest killer in Forsaken. Despite his innocence, he's been pulled into a world of violence he can't escape. He thinks he's having fun with friends, just being a little rough, but he doesn't realize he's killing them. The Spectre controls his every move, trapping him in this twisted existence where each round resets the cycle. And Cool Kid's tragic innocence is forever caught in the middle of this. What's interesting about Cool Kid's lore too is that there are two skins that he has, which aren't just for cosmetics. Like, it isn't for you just to look cool, but they're actually connected to Cool Kid and they have kind of like their own lore. It really isn't much, but there is something that you can build off of. The first skin is Blue Dude, which is not the same as Cool Kid. This is a different person. He represents represents a darker, edgier version of a Forsaken being. He shares a deep hatred for Cool Kid. The exact reason isn't clear, like it isn't stated or anything, but he shares this hatred with Pretty Princess, who also despises Cool Kid, but the exact reasons are still unknown. Blue Dude stands as a contrast. He's not just a skin of Cool Kid, lore-wise, but a completely distinct character with his own unique backstory. Obviously, we don't know what it is yet, but the foundations are already set for these skins to have more story later on in the future. The next skin is Pretty Princess. Like Blue Dude, she hates Cool Kid. She's a twisted parody. At 11 years old, she's slightly older than Cool Kid. Her personality mirrors Cool Kid in a more disturbing way. Playful, but with a subtle malice underneath. She may represent innocence pushed to the edge, just like Cool Kid, but in a more performative, ego-driven way. She might be more conscious of what she's actually doing, to whereas Cool Kid is more innocent. He doesn't really know what he's doing. And that is all for the Cool Kid lore. Forsaken's lore is actually pretty interesting, even though there isn't much of it yet. The creator Soul has said on Twitter that he'll be focusing more on the narrative aspect of the game going forward. Despite not having a huge amount of lore yet, there are still characters with really intriguing backgrounds like 007, Shaletsky, and 1x4. If you guys are interested in lore videos on those characters, let me know and I'll make them. If you made it this far into the video, you might as well like and subscribe. Only 0.2% of my viewers are actually subscribed. It helps the channel out a ton. So if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.